Sometimes you spend years searching for the answer to a problem and then you discover that the answer was inside you all along. So it's January and a lot of us are feeling bloated and unhealthy after overindulging over the Christmas period. We find ourselves looking around for ways to detoxify, to get back to that healthy, vigorous feeling that perhaps we last had in the summertime. And I wanted to tell you guys about the most amazing detox technique that I've been using for a while now. And it's absolutely incredible. It's not too expensive. You don't even have to think much about it, but it is an amazing way of just detoxifying, getting all of those poisons out of your system and get yourself feeling healthy and vigorous once again. So it's called having a liver. And I've had a liver my whole life now. And the way that it works, I don't want to overcomplicate this, but what you have to do to detoxify with this is you just have a liver, and then your liver will detoxify everything for you. I cannot recommend this enough. It has certainly, I wouldn't say it's changed my life because I've never lived without it, but it's definitely, a cool thing. And I would recommend it to everyone watching this video. Instead of spending money on all those fad diets and stuff, just if you want to detoxify, have a liver.
All you have to do to get an amazing night of sleep, the best night of sleep of your life, is simple. For the last hour you're awake, don't use your phone. Okay? Now, is that something you can all try?
No.
No.
What?
No.
How about just the last 20 minutes right before you go to bed?
I really don't. That's even worse.
So it seems like sleep isn't really important to you.
Sleep is the most important thing in my life. I would take any pill. I would have any surgery for a better night's sleep.
Same.
Definitely, I would do that.
Okay, how about just the last 5 minutes that you're awake?
No.
Wow.
I really don't think so, doctor.
Like maybe put your phone down, you go brush your teeth, use the toilet, and go to bed.
So you expect us to sit on the toilet without our phones like in Amish?
Yes,
That's crazy.
just the last time you use it right before you go to bed.
Okay, so what time of day do you recommend that I go on WebMD and look up what all my rashes mean?
Yeah, when should he look up his rashes?
Welcome everyone to episode number 158 of The State of Fitness. Today is February 8th, 2023. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I'm David Greenwalt. I'm the founder of Leanness Lifestyle University, and we help people from every walk of life to live in their best lives and with the fitness they desire. So for first timers, each Wednesday on these States of the Fitness, I discuss anything weight management, health or fitness oriented that's top of mind for the week. This State of Fitness is my 158th in a row since February 5th, 2020. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel and you like what we're doing here, be sure you subscribe, like it, all that good stuff, please. Helps us out. What do you think of those? What do you think of those warm-up videos? Some of those just crack me up to sleep. Put your phone away just for the last few minutes. No. The person doing the wall balls hanging from the bar, that's nuts. And then you had the amazing detoxifier, the liver. So those things crack me up. So gotta have a little fun once in a while. Let's start off by taking a quick look at some top students, top performing students this week and see what's shaking, all right? Okay, top students, average points in the last 7 days on our site. You can score 149 points in a day. That's the maximum points. And these are actions on campus within our members-only area where each of these things is scored. And we know what needs to be done. We know how to score it. We know what's worth what. And the maximum points, and what I say is we know what's worth what. It's not about keeping people busy. It's about making sure that We're doing the actions that have been proven over time to help people create success offline. Doing these behaviors online on our site helps create success offline. Maximum points someone can get in a day is 149. Each of these students that you see here had almost 100 points. I included a few students that had 96 and 98 because they were so close. But otherwise, they had basically an average per day score of at least 100 points. Abby and Donna had perfect 149 point averages. Way to go. And Nikki, real close. Awesome job, everybody. For pounds lost in the last 6 weeks, all of these students have lost at least 8 pounds in the last 6 weeks. The top 5 students for weight loss in the last 6 weeks currently are Joseph at 13.6, Nikki at 14.4, and Matthew at 16.2, Carol at 16.7, and Deb at 17.2 pounds gone. Congratulations, everyone. For percent of weight loss in the last 6 weeks, at least every one of these students has lost at least 5% of their weight as of 6 weeks ago. And the top 5 this week are Yvonne at 6.8, Hillary at 7.1, Nikki at 7.8, Deb at 8.3, and Carol at 8.7% of her starting body weight as of 6 weeks ago. This top maintainers list, always impressive. I think there's 46 students on this list right now. And each of these students has already achieved their lifetime goal. And so they are currently actively enrolled students who have achieved their lifetime goal. Some students have lost 6, 8, 10 pounds. Some students have lost 150 pounds. But the bottom line is they came to lose a certain amount of weight and they've achieved that. They've maintained within 10 pounds of their goal for the number of days you see in the days column. They've kept off the amount of weight you see in the weight loss column. The students in green have kept their weight off for at least a year, at least 365 days, and they are what we call master's candidates. So to earn your master's, you keep your weight off consistently within 10 pounds for 2 consecutive years. The students in orange have earned their master's. They've already kept their weight off for 2 consecutive years, and they are PhD candidates. And then the students in blue are full-fledged PhD recipients, which is the highest award that we give at Leanness Lifestyle University. So there you have it. These students are incredible examples of leading from the front and making sure that we all can see that it can be done and just how important it is to continue to maintain the behaviors and practice to do what we came here to do, which is what? Lose the weight one more time for the last time, right? Absolutely. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to share kind of quickly is I'm going to share a cool meal planning hack to simplify things. It's been a long time since I taught this hack, probably too long really. So here's the premise. If you're a regular exerciser, you'll often get into a routine, so just bear with me here. Monday is leg day, Tuesday's cardio, Wednesday's CrossFit, Thursday's upper body push, Friday's off, Saturday's an upper body pull day, Sunday is cardio, so forth. All right, that's 6 exercise days, 1 day off. But it's very common, whatever your routine is, to get into a particular routine to do certain things on certain days. Whatever your schedule, if you have one, and it's probably a good idea if you do, so that you know on whatever day what you're going to do that day for exercise. So you kind of have a plan before you go in, for the day. Even for the week, days ahead, you can look at it and say, oh yeah, Wednesday is leg day or whatever. Well, this same sentiment can be applied to make planning way simpler, to make meal planning way simpler and less intimidating. So let's say with that exercise routine, again, very common, that Monday for you is a lower body focus day. So whatever you're doing, that there's a general focus on lower body, and every Monday it's always that way. You've got Monday as a lower body focus day. And each week, that's how it is, all right? So let's say today, let's look at this as an example here. So here's a breakfast, and let's say today I'm going to show you a breakfast, lunch, dinner, kind of an example. Someone using our nutrition professor on campus within our program. That's what this is showing. Someone logging their food. So let's say today is Monday, and you're happy with the meals you've logged or at least planned and written down, and you know their calories, carbs, proteins, and fats. Okay, whether you're using MyFitnessPal or My Nutrition Professor, it's going to give you all that, all the macros and all that. So here's a breakfast, okay, and you can see what it's got for carbs, proteins, and fats. And let's say the person is happy with it. It's eggs and avocado and some coffee and some rye bread. All right, and then, for lunch, we've got some ground turkey with veggies, bell peppers, broccoli, some other veggies, ground turkey, mushrooms, and apple, and you like the macros of that, and you're happy with that. And dinner is turkey meatloaf, baby carrots, cucumber salad, and there's your macros for that. And let's say you're happy with that. And then there's a snack, and it's an apple carrot protein muffin, going to be homemade there, I guarantee it. And at the end of the day, you're happy with everything, and it doesn't really matter as long as it fits your goal and you're happy about it. But in this particular person's goal, you can see they're at 1,591 calories, 185 grams of carbs, 118 grams of protein, 46 grams of fat. Let's just say you're happy with it. You like the day. It's a day you actually ate. You're happy with it. You've kind of proven that you can do it. You like the meals, and you're like, yeah, does anything make your eyes roll back in your head, No, but let's say you like everything and it's a good day. So this is Monday. So with whatever meals you have for that Monday, at least with my nutrition professor, and just in general, the hack here holds no matter what you're using. But for all the meals you have for that Monday, for that entire Monday, that can be like your lower body focus day. All these meals, this day, this Monday's worth of meals, can be like your lower body focus day. Just copy the entire day to next Monday. On Monday, you have this breakfast, that lunch, this dinner, and that snack. Copy it to the next Monday. Now, this is way different than turning your eating plan into a Groundhog Day event, which we don't want, where every single day you're eating the same thing. No. So if there are 7 days in a week, and there are, if you create one good Monday worth of meals that support your goal, you can copy the entire day to the following Monday. Done. Next Monday is planned, done, ready to go. And just like your lower body focus day, you know what next Monday is going to be. It's going to be these 3 meals and a snack. Okay? Whatever your Tuesday of meals is, as long as you've got some variety compared to Monday and it supports your goal, you're good to go. Just copy Tuesday to the next Tuesday. It's possible, if you think about it, to only create 7 days worth of meals, each day providing some variety compared to the others, and just copy them day for day, week to week. So will there be enough variety? Let me just do this. Go back here. You've seen it, okay? Will there be enough variety by doing this to support health, weight management, and fitness? Yes. If you have each day a little bit of variety compared to the other days, you're going to get plenty of variety in 7 days. Will there be enough variety by doing this to satisfy whatever level of variety you feel you need? I don't know. Each person is different. But if not, then here's a potential alternative. Let's say you're just like, I've got to have a lot more variety than that, Dave. All right. Well, then let's create 2 total weeks worth of different meals. Instead of 7 days, we're going to create 14 days, but that's it. It's only 14 days. Or in my example, it's only 7 days. So it's not some endless list of overwhelming, intimidating, oh my gosh, how do I ever do this? Create 7 days, copy to the next 7 days. All right, we're saying that's not enough variety. You're someone that needs a ton. Create two total weeks worth of different meals, 14 total days. Whatever suits you, get enough variety in there, and then still just copy Monday to the Monday 2 weeks later instead of the Monday 1 week later. Copy Tuesday to the Tuesday 2 weeks later rather than 1 week later, and so on. And just keep that going. You'll have 14 days worth of variety, and just keep Monday to Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, but you're on a 2 week cycle instead of a 1 week, 7 day cycle. That amount of variety should satisfy even the person who feels they need a lot of variety. And remember this too. Some variety is good for good health, weight management, and fitness. It is. Get all your nutrients, making sure you're not short on anything, making sure you've got enough of everything, making sure you've got enough variety. Okay? Some variety is good for all of those purposes and more. But too much variety makes things too complex and you're less likely to execute the plan. You don't want it to be so overwhelming, especially if you're newer or in the beginning where some of this is so front brain, it's so up here, it's not hit your subconscious yet where you're just like, I mean, the people that you saw on that maintainers list, for the most part, they've got it so down pat, It's in the back of their brain. It's subconscious. They can drive the car to work and not even remember how they got there. That's kind of how they can do their meals. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them can do that because it's just becomes so second nature. But especially when you're new, it can feel overwhelming. You've got to think about a lot. You're trying to hit your macros. I've taught you what real food is. You're trying to incorporate more of that. You're trying to follow the NFL 15, the 15 principles that we lay out within our program. They provide the eating framework. You're trying to do all that. It's a lot to think about. So if you can simplify the meal planning and just go Monday to Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, it's really, really slick. So we do want some variety. So at a minimum, we'd like to see 1 to 2 different breakfasts. I'm talking about in 7 days, really in 30 days. We'd like to see at least 1 to 2 different breakfasts, at least 3 to 4 different lunches, at least 5 to 6 different dinners, and 1 to 2 different snacks if you're having a snack. I'd consider this the minimum. But I'd also consider it overkill, especially for someone new, to try and come up with 8 different breakfasts, 14 different lunches, 20 different dinners, and so on. It's just not how most people who are successful at transformation eat. It's not. All in a 30-day period, you're probably only going to eat, which means you only probably have to come up with meals that fit all the parameters that I lay out for you and that you're striving to achieve. You probably only have to think about, with regard to meals, 15 to 25 different meals total. I'm talking, that includes your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, okay? There's probably only 15 to 25 different meals total in any 30-day period that you're eating, give or take just a few. It's not as crazy to set up a plan as you might think, okay? All right, moving on. So I've been a guest on over 40 podcasts now since the end of November 2022. It's really been mind-blowing. I've done 4 podcasts in a day. I did that last week. It's not unusual for me to do 2 or 3 a day right now. So I've really enjoyed it more than I thought. I really have. And I've said that before, but I just want to say it again, that speaking with so many varied people with varied interests, it's really, really been fun. One of the many benefits I'd say I've received for doing so much talking to so many different podcast hosts with so many varied interests is it's helped me to more clearly state what's required to really win weight management once and for all, especially in our modern obesogenic environment. I've had to get really clear, get more concise, more streamlined in my description of it and presentation about it. So anyone who's been with me a while knows I've said weight management success is like a 3-legged stool. 3 legs, right? And if any of the legs is broken or wobbly, weight management can topple over. So the 3 legs I've always discussed are nutrition, which I refer to as a nutritionally fit lifestyle, activity, which I refer to as an actively fit lifestyle, and last but not least is an emotionally fit lifestyle. Those are the 3 legs I've always discussed. Those pillars, if you want to call them, legs, pillars, whatever you want to call them, for successful weight management. But I've always had, and I've talked about them here and there, but not as clear and concise as I've kind of come to from doing all these podcasts and just having to talk about this so much. So I want to share this with you. That's what I'm going to do. So there are 3 other pillars, legs, whatever you want to call them, that we address here at LLU, that we try and educate on and strengthen, that as time and experience, decades now that I've been doing this, has shown me they are required, not optional. They are required to win weight management. And by winning weight management, I mean get to the healthy weight you want, keep the muscle, stay there, give or take a few pounds forever, okay? But definitely at least 4 years consecutively, like the people on our maintainers list who have earned their PhD. So this entire presentation is going to be 1 slide, and it's going to kind of keep going from that 1 slide back to me and back to the slide. But I want to make sure you know what I consider, 23 years in, online anyway, been coaching since 87, but online, Leanest Lifestyle University has been going since 1999. So 23 years in, and as of February 2023, I want you to know what I consider to be the 6 pillars of weight management success that we address here at LOU, that I find to be critical and necessary, not optional, to really win it. Okay? Okay. You ask most people what's needed for weight loss, and they'll say eat less and exercise more, or some variation of this, which includes two pillars, nutrition and exercise on the right side there. And many people feel they know what to do, eat less and better and exercise more, and they just need to do it. I know what to do, I just need to do it. And it's not a wonder, since most people focus solely on two of the 6 pillars, nutrition and exercise, why 80 to 95% of people don't lose the excess and keep it off. Nutrition and exercise, as this image shows, are only the tip of the iceberg, only what most people see or know. But there are 4 more pillars needed to win this in our modern era. So I don't mean this literally, but I can teach someone healthy nutrition for weight management, fitness, and longevity in about an hour. Okay? I don't mean it literally, but just take it for what it's worth. It's not really going to be far off. I can teach what's needed to be known about nutrition for weight management, fitness, and longevity in about an hour. I can teach the same sentiment regarding healthy activity and exercise strategies for weight management, fitness, and longevity in about an hour. But we live in an incredibly obesogenic environment. Obesogenic just referring to all factors external to us and internal within us that contribute to behaviors that promote obesity. That's obesogenic. Like what? Well, how about fast food and convenience store numbers? Hundreds of thousands of fast food establishments, hundreds of thousands of convenience stores. The same goes for either, fast food or convenience marts, all right? The sheer number in and of itself of those entities, those businesses, is obesogenic. Ultra-processed fast food is available almost everywhere. Ultra-processed food, including fast food, is cheap and convenient. These aspects are obesogenic. They contribute to obesity. We're drawn to cheap and convenient. Ultra-processed food is addictive. Like, no one is addicted to real food like chicken breast and broccoli. Literally, no one is addicted to chicken breast and broccoli. But millions worldwide are addicted to ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed food being highly addictive, this in and of itself contributes to obesity and is obesogenic. So, the monkey-banana relationship. The monkey-banana relationship is obesogenic. Huh? If you've never heard me talk about the monkey-banana relationship, here we go. Follow the money. We're all just monkeys motivated by bananas. Politicians, the monkeys that they are, too often have as their first priority getting reelected. It's a banana for them. And that often comes before serving their country or local constituents, as we all know. A lot of money, bananas, flow into their campaigns from big food to make sure food production laws and regulatory bodies continue supporting the production of ultra-processed food, where over 3,000 industrial additives are used. The political monkey, a politician, will accept the banana money and align their law and policy votes with the wishes of lobbyists for big food. The continued support of big food is obesogenic. Okay? Another monkey is simply big food. What's the biggest banana for big food? Profit. Especially public corporations that have shareholders to please. Look, I'm not against profit. I own a business myself. Profit is good. We need profit as a business to turn all the wheels of employment, to maintain the business, and to generate revenue and incomes that keep any economy churning. It's more about us understanding the relationship, the monkey-banana relationship, and not believing that the Frankenfood products on store shelves are primarily there to serve our health, fitness, or longevity, or believing in any way, shape, or form that big food has as their primary objective to serve us the healthiest things, the things that are the best for us, that are going to improve our health span and lifespan. I'm not saying they have that's a zero for them, but for most, nearly all big food companies, that is going to be much further down the list. And profit, that banana, the banana of profit, is going to be number one. So to generate that profit, to get that banana, they produce frankenfoods that generate repeat buyers, right? That's what they want, repeat buyers. You need to like it so much that you want to buy it again and again and again. So, what it ends up doing is it ends up creating users rather than consumers. And I choose that word intentionally, users rather than consumers. If we're a consumer, we just make a decision. I don't want it. I want it, I don't want it. If we're a user, it can become irrational. It can become compulsive. User is a word that we use when we're speaking of substance abuse. So talk about that more in a minute. But smart and talented food chemists employed by Big Food have as a mission to create a bliss point. This bliss point is not only the perfect ratio of sugar, salt, and fat, but also the use of industrial additives that improve taste, mouthfeel, texture, whatever, that ultimately has as the objective from the food chemists to get our eyes rolling back in our head when we eat it, getting a nice dopamine hit, and leaving us jonesing for it again and again. So what does the big food monkey want? More bananas, which is more profit. And that happens especially if they can get us hooked on their stuff. Again, it's not about saying these people are evil and malevolent and there's a bunch of terrible people in there. No. There's a ton of good people just trying to earn a living for their family and just trying to do their thing. But we need to understand the relationship of the monkey banana so that we understand that they have their bananas, being the monkeys they are. We're monkeys, we have our bananas. We need to understand what serves them, what they're striving for, because we don't have to buy into it. And these follow the money, monkey banana relationships are obesogenic. They contribute to obesity by promoting the large-scale continued production of ultra-processed food. So if we buy more of it, we feed all the monkeys up the chain with the bananas the system has created as motivation for them to continue without change. They are not going to be motivated to change if we continue to buy their stuff. So just something, a little food for thought. So the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is a monkey. It's also the organization that certifies all registered dietitians in the United States. Claims to be your trusted source of food and nutrition information. But they get bananas via financial support from Big Food. And they're invested in Big Food. Money, 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 which is huge bananas for them. So there's a quid pro quo arrangement with Big Food in the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And through that quid pro quo, they're biased and they continue to preach a message of all things in moderation. No food is bad. Pay no attention to processing. As long as you meet your nutrient needs, you're good to go. Right. No. The financial bananas in support of the Academy of Nutrition Dietetics monkey, no doubt, creates that messaging bias toward them speaking favorably of ultra-processed foods. In moderation, of course, as though everyone can actually moderate their use. That messaging, that monkey-banana relationship at that high level where they could actually move the needle a bit if they could speak honestly and authentically about what's really going on and how moderation is BS if we're considering it in all things. Their message is obesogenic. Marketing is obesogenic. When was the last time you saw an advertisement for asparagus? Never, right? Never. Never see it. Almost all major media ads involving foods aren't really advertisements for food. They're advertisements for ultra-processed food that's going to be junk. Marketing's goal is to entice us to make a buying decision in favor of what's being advertised. So, where was I? Yes, the tip of the iceberg. I know what to do, I just need to do it, which, as I said, pretty much always is referring to nutrition and exercise. Eat less and or right, and exercise more and or right. Okay? So let's assume for a moment that we've cleared away the tremendous misinformation most people come to me with regarding that they've got stored in their cranium about what they should be eating and how they ought to be moving for health, weight management, and fitness. Let's say we've got that cleared away. Let's assume someone does now actually have the knowledge they need regarding nutrition and exercise. Are we done? I mean, it's just a math problem, right? Calories in, calories out, energy balance. Well, here's the deal. If you were a robot, and I could program you to eat real food that you like and to move your body in a daily activity and exercise to support health, weight management, and fitness, and through this programming you did it consistently, you for sure could get to whatever healthy weight you want to be and live there forever, regardless of genetics, family history, hormones, age, or any other perceived limitation you have. It's so simple, right? So if someone doesn't do those supposedly simple things, why don't they? Well, there are 4 other pillars that most don't consider, and they are below the water's surface. As with the iceberg, most seeking health, weight management, and fitness only see what's above the surface. But most of an iceberg and most of a successful transformation with lasting weight management success is below the surface. Most people don't realize that in our incredibly obesogenic environment full of monkeys and bananas, they're going to need a why that is incredibly strong, stronger than you think. He or she who has a why can bear any how. When the why is strong enough, we find a way, and when it's not, we find an excuse every single time. There are too many external and internal forces working against us in our modern environment to come at this process with a why that's only half-hearted or simply not thought through as deeply and emotionally driven as is needed. Why power drives willpower. What's willpower? Willpower is the ability to do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You know, for anything you've ever accomplished, it's universal for us all. For anything any of us has ever accomplished that took a long time and that was hard, you had why power driving willpower. You go to work every day. You're rarely, if ever, late. You're on time. This requires willpower. And you do this no matter what, because your why is incredibly strong for keeping the job. Picking your kids up on time, 5 days a week, from school, from soccer practice, it requires willpower. You do it without fail because your why is incredibly strong. You can't imagine letting your child down by not picking them up. Can't imagine it, right? Heck, we'll give ourselves a guilt trip for 5 years for being 15 minutes late one time. You got an advanced degree? Did you get an advanced degree? Are you a master craftsman in your trade? Are you a musician? And pretty good? All of these things and more required tremendous willpower to do what needed to be done, when it needed to be done, whether you felt like it or not. And for each of these accomplishments, you had a why strong enough to drive will. So if you feel like you don't have enough willpower for weight management, you might be right. But it's going to be because your why hasn't been deeply looked into and really discovered. The aspect of why power driving willpower is universal. And with respect to weight management, it's too often given no attention or not near enough consideration of its importance for driving a successful transformation. At LOU, as any of my students know, we spend a significant time trying to help our students create their why, drilling down as deeply as possible, leaving nothing to chance, making it far more likely when that alarm goes off at 5 a.m. that you'll really get out of bed and do the 20 minutes of some kind of exercise, or you'll spend 5 extra minutes prepping real food rather than opting for ultra-processed junk. When that why is strong enough, you'll do those things. Having a killer why doesn't guarantee success. It just stacks the odds greatly in your favor. But not having a killer why does guarantee failure. Sorry, I can't sugarcoat this. The why is critical for willpower and success, period. Full stop. So let's say you've got the why driving will. You've got the why power. You've got it, okay? Really got it. It's very deeply, emotionally driving, positively focused. It's powerful for you, whatever it is. You've got that. So, what else is overlooked but critical to success? Triggered eating. Ultra-processed food is addictive, as I said, for far more people than is being acknowledged or identified even in current research. Executives of fast food companies have described their best customers as heavy users. There's user again. Heavy users as in users of substances of abuse like alcohol, nicotine, opioids, and more. If we actually have the facts on good nutrition, appropriate daily activity and exercise, and we're executing the behaviors exceptionally. Now let's say we have a killer why driving will. If someone is a triggered eater and we haven't addressed that, we're sunk. So, what might be a trigger? Time of day, location, social situations, peer pressure. So a specific person could be a trigger. Anxiety-producing communications, the email, the bad news, the phone call, the whatever. Bad news in general. And a drum roll, please. Specific ultra-processed foods can be triggers. Remember, though, top government sources, top Ivy League nutrition and health educators, nearly all dietitians are all proponents of all things in moderation. Well, I subscribe to all things in moderation, including moderation. I didn't invent the quote, but no one really knows who did. All things in moderation, including moderation. Moderation in all things? Heroin, adultery, murder. Moderation in all things. All things in moderation. You know what? Sometimes 0 is better than 1. Sometimes 99% is a bitch and 100% is bliss, as author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield, says. Sometimes abstaining from certain ultra-processed foods at certain times or places or social situations, or entirely certain ones, for you, specific to you, sometimes abstaining is going to be necessary in the situation or with the ultra-processed food itself, at least for a while, to win transformation, to be successful. This isn't to say someone has to give up their favorite cookie forever, but I'm also not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that someone won't have to do this. That specific cookie, whatever it is. You know what I mean by cookie, whatever it is for you. Food addiction experts, the real experts in food addiction that have been in it for 20, 30 years or more, that have their noses buried in the research or are creating the research or are running the clinics or have written the books, the real food addiction experts know all too well that sometimes abstention from the specific ultra-processed food or the trigger situation, sometimes it's just necessary. Sometimes 0 is better than 1. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't do you any good to lie to you, and I know you can handle it. You can handle it. It may take a bit for you to process it, and you may not be at acceptance yet, and I get that. There can be a grieving process to this. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. The faster we can get to acceptance, the better anyone's going to do. So the good news, though, is no plan has to turn into I never get to eat anything that tastes good. Totally untrue. There will be hundreds and hundreds of foods, some of them even ultra-processed, that will taste good and be available, regardless of any aspect of abstinence that may need to be employed to be successful. There will be treats and splurges. I can't guarantee success if you've properly addressed triggered eating, but it will greatly stack the odds in your favor again and give you a massive advantage over the eat less and exercise more, all things in moderation group if you have addressed triggered eating. And as with the why, I can't sugarcoat this. If you're a triggered eater and you don't have a workable abstinence plan, you will not be successful, or at least not for long. Okay? What else is overlooked but critical for success? Emotional fitness. Emotional fitness is huge. Remember, it was one of the 3 big legs that I had in my initial teaching on kind of the 3 legs of permanent weight management. Emotional fitness is huge. And it includes many elements like focus, gratitude, acceptance and courage relating to control, sleep, connection, compassion, mindfulness, rejuvenation, reconciling trauma, faith, and fun. Like a muscle, emotional fitness can grow stronger with education and repetition of good strategies that support emotional fitness. Whatever emotional fitness or lack you might have right now, it's not like eye color. You're not stuck with it. You can grow. You can get stronger in the emotional fitness area. You really get better at feeling authentically good and managing life when you're emotionally fit. And as one becomes more emotionally fit, the goal is to feel more authentically good more often. And this contrasts with feeling regretfully good. Like we might feel after eating 1,000 calories of junk, right? You might feel good for about a minute, but then we regret it later. Or doing retail therapy, where we spend $500 we don't really have, and that feels good in the moment, but when we get the credit card statement, we regret it. Feeling authentically good happens when we're living more in alignment with our highest values, and this requires emotional fitness to do this. When we're more emotionally fit, we can better manage life. We're less likely to use catastrophic language to describe daily, normal, uncomfortable life events. As better life managers, we can make the better nutrition decision when some anxiety-inducing event occurs, when we're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. We can make the better nutrition decision when we're more emotionally fit. And instead of the conditioned automated response, that eating behavior that happens immediately at light switch speed, like that, that's a better snap. Instead of that happening, so whatever the situation was, and then boom, every single time, can't handle it, must soothe immediately. Instead of that happening, we can actually realize the truth of what concentration camp survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, what he says, which is between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So being more emotionally fit allows us to respond to life more rather than overreact to life. When we are emotionally fit, we can get to the point of what I call being more like a lifestyle ninja. And I just mean that we can handle whatever comes our way better. We can use all the tools that we've learned and that we've practiced and that we've studied and we've read about and we've tried to implement more often. We can use those tools, principles, or strategies that are best for whatever the situation is. With emotional fitness education and reinforcement of these ideals, we really can mature and perform more in alignment with these highest values with increased life satisfaction. Okay? So the last overlooked pillar is having the right personal, professional, and spiritual support you need. Can someone win this completely alone, on an island, doing it all by themselves? No. As I was preparing this, I was honestly going to say yes, because some don't hire out professional services, and I get that. But in the end, whether it's hired out or not, in the end, no one wins this without help in some ways. To think that you've done this all by yourself without any outside help or assistance in any way, in my opinion, is incredibly egotistical and arrogant. And arrogance, when it comes to most things, but definitely weight management, is very detrimental to success, especially in the long term, but often in the short term. But to what degree do you need personal, professional, or spiritual support? I don't know. It really varies. What I can say is most stand a greater chance of success with some combination of these support systems, personal, professional, and spiritual support. And what I'd say is, let's use Winston Churchill's quote as a guide and ask yourself how you're doing. If you don't have personal, professional, or spiritual support, or you do, but you're not engaging it, because it's one thing to have it available, but if you're not engaging it, then are you really using it? No. And what I'd say is, before you push back against it and say, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, and I don't need these other things either, if you say that, what I'd say is, let's use Churchill's quote is, no matter how beautiful the strategy, we should occasionally look at the results. So if your results are incredible, if you have been maintaining for 4 years and you haven't needed any of these things, great, fantastic. But if you're struggling, or if you're not progressing as you could or as you wish and as you deserve, then I can't encourage you enough that these 6 pillars are necessary. And what I have found over the decades in working personally with people every single day for the last 30 years, 23 years online. I've been saying after each pillar that if you have that pillar dialed in, I can't guarantee success. But I said if you don't have that pillar dialed in properly, I can guarantee failure. I think we look at each one of these 6. If you have nutrition dialed in, I can't guarantee success. But if you don't have it dialed in, I can guarantee failure. And we can do that with each one. So I'm going to close, though, on what I see as a best case scenario. And it's a best case because I love it that it's truthful and it's good news. So each of the pillars individually stack the deck in your favor, but each pillar individually doesn't guarantee your success. But if without any notion of perfection required, because perfection is never required, if you have a good handle on all of these pillars, you will be successful. You will be able to take your body to any healthy weight you choose, and you'll be able to live there, regardless of genetics, regardless of family history, regardless of age, hormones, or number of past attempts without success. With all 6 pillars reasonably dialed in, you can win this once and for all. You really can. And I'm so encouraged by just being able to say that. And I have such a strong confidence that it's right. I've seen it so many times with our successful students when they have these 6 pillars in place, when they engage that personal, professional, spiritual support, when they address each of these things as needed. Because the thing is that while we're all human, and we all have a heart located generally in our chest cavity, and we have a liver, and we have a couple of kidneys usually, and we've got a physiology that's even similar, not just anatomy, but we've got similar physiology. You know, the thing is, even though we have these similarities, and thank goodness we do, we're all still individual enough that various parts of those 6 pillars will need to be addressed differently or a bit differently for each person. There's a framework for each of them that apply kind of universally to each person, but when we really get into it, what's a personal abstinence plan look like for you if you're a triggered eater? It's going to be different than compared to someone else. What's personal, professional, and spiritual support look like for you compared to someone else? You may need more of this and less of this. Your why. What's your why going to be? What drives you? It's going to be different. It's going to be unique to you. So even though we have tremendous similarities, thank goodness, being human, we have enough differences where these things need to be looked at from a personal perspective. And so that's one of the things that we try to do very, very, with a very concerted effort to do that for our students that are enrolled in the program. Okay. So as I do here, before I leave you, since we're talking about triggered eaters, before I close this out, I want to put out a call to those who are going to need some extra help, a more tailored plan if you answer yes to the following statement. Here's the statement. I am someone who compulsively overeats or engages in compulsive food behavior. Compulsive basically meaning that there are negative results for the behavior every time or almost every time, yet we consistently engage in it. It's compulsive. It's irrational. Doesn't make any sense when we consider that we're getting punished every single time we do it, but we do it anyway. If you answer yes to this statement, I'm inviting you to send me a private message on campus so we can discuss the process you're going to need to win this once and for all. It's not an upsell. If you're a member, there's no money aspect to it whatsoever. All right? Okay, that was different, right? One slide. So you get to see a lot of me. I don't know if that's good or not. You guys can tell me thumbs up, thumb down, like it, comment. You say, I don't want to see your face that much. Whatever. Let me know. But that's a wrap for this week's State of the Class. New students, everyone, please ask questions. Ask us questions. We want engagement. Ask us anything. That's why we're here, to help you shortcut the process, and so that you don't have to rely on Google. Hey, Google, what's the best whatever? Oh, my God. You know, do that for things that we can't answer. And so if it's health and fitness related, please ask us. That's what we're here for. Confused, stuck, need anything at all, while we're here, reach out. Please do. So until next time, let's focus on what we want. Let's be grateful for what we already have. And remember, it's all happening perfectly.